have Gakuo with me this morning. It is still morning on my side. I know we had this bit of this conversation before. Good to be in the same time zone with you.
Yes, I see. Yes, I'm.
Oh my gosh. I know we had so many amazing things happen this year. I saw you earlier in Detroit. Um You keep doing so much good work and promoting everything within the industry. Thank you so much for doing that. You are one of our male authors on this Empowering Women in STEM book. So very grateful for that. Thank you for taking that plunge.
Oh,
It's always good when we get a male perspective in there, and I'm glad that you decided to say yes to this. And you have a very interesting chapter, and I like the way that you formulated your thoughts in that chapter because it wasn't just from a male point of view. It was more from, trying to get this representation and equitable representation in that chapter. And one of the things that stood out to me was that you spoke about the fact that you spoke to a lot of different people within the industry. And I will let you get some more into that. But I liked that you did your research before you did that chapter. And you always do. I mean, like, I've seen you present before. You always do your research before. Um, but it's always very interesting to hear what you uncovered. And we will dive a little bit more into that. But before we do, tell us a little bit about what you do on a regular basis. And, I know you deal with a lot of interesting applications.
yeah, no, first of all, thank you, Sonia, for not only inviting me, is just partnering together with
Yeah.
this book and some of the industry presentations.
Oh, yes.
Anytime you ask me to do something, most likely I'll do it. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you for this. Um, so my name, like you said, is Gakuo Ndonga. I'm now a senior engineer.
Hmm.
I'm working for a bearing manufacturer called WD Bearings.
Yes.
So my experience in the industry has been around machinery.
Hmm.
So any machine you know that has a rotating component
Yes.
most likely has a bearing. So
Yep.
it's in a skateboard, it's in your fan, it's on your
Everywhere.
car. Yeah, right. It's everywhere, right? We don't think about it, but when bearings fail, we like to say the world stops because
Hmm.
sometimes it does.
Yes.
So that's kind of why that's what I've been doing for a little over 10 years, helping
Oh,
manufacturers choose the right bearings and troubleshoot when they have issues in a lot of different industries. So, I've been in the fluid industry.
hmm.
Now I work in power transmission,
Yes.
material handling, in agriculture. Like I said, bearings are
Everywhere.
everywhere, right? And it's good to be here again, son. Always good.
Oh my gosh, bearings are really everywhere, and I think they keep the world moving. Whether we want to admit it or not, they are very critical to every application. So, thank you for your service with that.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about why you wanted to write this chapter, because I know the theme of the book is empowering women in STEM. So, a lot of women would gravitate towards being an author for this book. Besides me bothering you constantly about writing the chapter, why did you want to write this chapter in this book?
Well, that is reason one, Sonia. You did that's very nice. So that is the first reason.
Good.
No, um, but the second reason, we've had these conversations about talent in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's gaining talent, whether it's retaining talent, whether it's developing talent. And, I can say this, engineers do have a lot of talent,
You
but
do.
unfortunately, a lot of times in the engineering space, um, you don't see as much representation on the gender side, right?
Mm-mm.
Uh, and, there's always a question of why,
Yeah.
right? Or what's wrong? As engineers, we're taught to use math, science,
Mm-hmm.
logical reasoning to figure out, okay, what are we trying to understand? The first step, and this is actually an exercise for me, writing this chapter was telling me, hey, you're seeing something that's doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you need to do is collect information. And really, that's really what I started doing is saying
Yeah.
why or where or what causes not enough females as much as males to enter and stay in the engineering discipline or in the engineering field, right?
Right.
And just going through and understanding, okay, well, there's a lot of
There's a lot.
engineering talent with women, especially in university.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something that happens between the degree phase and the
Yeah.
career phase that I don't think we really dug deep enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this writing this chapter was almost like educating myself on the subject.
And I love that you did. And like, I remember one of the things that you said in your chapter that a lot of women, one of their responses was that, when they get in the industry, they don't know if they really belong or they don't feel like they belong. And it's something that I think a lot of women in engineering deal with, in that they are trying to find a space that they belong when they don't necessarily need to belong in the sense of fit in, they need to stand out. So I think that's something that we struggle with a lot. And we try always, blend in with the crowd, or, we're just trying to get by or just stay at, we're not gonna be the ones jumping off and, being at the top of everything. But you weren't there, you weren't placed there to blend in. You have to stand out. So you need to own that.
And I'll add, for me, what motivates me is being around people who are more intelligent than
Hmm.
me. It motivates me. It's very encouraging.
It is.
But it does bother me that if there's not if there's only a certain type of person in a room, it means there's a lot more potential or a
Hmm.
lot more missing who could be adding to that room,
Yep.
right? Um, because really, if we're talking about a human brain. A human brain
Hmm.
is a right,
Yes.
and really, the most intelligent and capable people really should be judged really on their capability.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what motivated me to even look into this is to say, wherever I go, right, you want the
Uh-huh.
best, right?
Hmm.
Right. And how do you kind of foster that? So
Yes.
that's a really important thing I think we have to do everywhere we
Yeah.
go, not just in engineering, not just in industry, right?
In
It
life.
could be a friend circle, right?
Mhm.
No, no, no.
In life as well, because that's like, I love that advice though. I definitely love that because we need to know and need to recognize where we're adding value and where we could actually help bring more people in. Because sometimes they don't know that they're missing out on these conversations until they know. Like, so until you bring them in, until you let them know what's going on, then they may not get into those spaces or may not get into those rooms. So we have a duty of responsibility there to try and help diversify those rooms and make sure we add the value that we can. So how would you help to inspire more people to, get involved in STEM, or even those who are within the industry and let's say they're not exactly in a STEM background or in a STEM field, what would you tell them to, get them more involved in STEM, besides the fact that parents make the world go round and they just need to be involved?
I won't use that one. No, no, it's actually I encourage everyone when it comes to fostering talent in this field,
Mm-hmm.
it has to start early. It can't
Yep.
start in university. Even
Mm-hmm.
high school is, I want to say, not too late, but it is getting late because you're
Yeah.
forced to pick a major in high school.
Yes.
So I would encourage you talking to really young people when they're in
Mm-hmm.
grade school and
Yes.
showing them, hey, you want to come to work with me and I'll
Yeah.
show you what an engineer does, what a
Mm-hmm.
technician does, what a mechanic does. right away they'll probably see things that will excite them,
Hmm.
right? And Sonia, you brought up bearing, right? How many people get excited with a bearing,
Not
right? But if
my, I do. I do, but I'm
okay,
not me.
you're the one. All right. Um, but if you show them where that bearing goes and how
Hmm.
it impacts everything else,
Hmm.
and this has happened to me taking people on tours, even bearing
Right.
factories, that's when the excitement comes.
Yeah.
It's seeing impact,
Yeah.
not just product. And
Hmm.
so really for everyone else to grow this field, we need to show young people we have an impact,
Hmm.
right? You can touch it or it's moving at 100 miles an
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that. And like I think definitely starts at a younger age because that's when they're most inquisitive. And that's when, their curiosity just goes beyond everything, beyond the barriers, beyond every stereotype, all of those things. At that age, that's when they're motivated to see where they want to go forward. They may not know exactly where yet, but just getting them excited, getting them interested, helping them to realize that different fields do not have genders associated with it. I think that's one of the main things we need to break down. Like, ideally, there are no genders associated with this. But getting them involved is so important, and I love the fact that you all can do those tours because showing them the impact, that's where they definitely will remember for life. Remember
absolutely.
for life, for sure. But if you haven't checked out the book yet, you are missing out on quite a lot. You know, Gakuo's chapter is chapter 28, almost the last chapter, but still very interesting read at the end of the book. He talks so much about the research that he did, what he found out, and of course, ways to, achieve that representation within our industry. So thank you so much for everything that you do and for all of the light that you're spreading into the world. So
Sonia, thank you for letting me close out with the book. And hopefully it's not the last, but I really appreciate you're doing good work, kind of, motivating others to kind of join this field, which is really exciting. We do a lot of good work. We make a big impact, but we
mhm.
need more and more talent all
We
the time.
do.
So
We definitely need more talent because that's the only thing besides the bearings that will make the world go round.
exactly. Well said.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.